everything is just dated. It's archaic, and a lot of the rules that are regulating our vehicles spawned out of early automotive days or after World War II, when people brought back motorcycles from the war and added sidecars. Now you have 3 wheels, so they came up with a whole regulatory regime for things that have 3 wheels just because of that whole motorcycle trend after World War II. So I think regulators just need to have a fresh look at where transportation is going and how we're using our energy. And I think people are getting more sensitive about it, because states like California want an all-electric vehicle fleet by 2035. States like Washington want an all-electric vehicle fleet by 2030. That means people are going to have to start moving. Politicians are going to have to start moving. They're going to have to start pushing dollars into areas that are going to make a difference. And hopefully, along with that, become some regulatory changes that make it easier to sell some vehicles that we see in Europe and Asia, which are amazing. And you're like, gosh, why don't we have those vehicles in America? It's because they don't really fit into the regulatory regimes that we have here. So they can't bring some of the very cool vehicles that you see in China and parts of Asia and Europe that you're like, gosh, I would love to have that thing and drive that 2 or 3 times a week. Just doesn't exist here. So hopefully we evolve. Looks like we're evolving slowly.
It does seem like it. We have a room full of advocates from across the country. Are there any particular states that need attention for their Twitter fingers to get itchy about?
So Florida's coming around. No more helmet stuff, so you can drive the 3-wheeled vehicle as an autocycle without worrying about that. We've had 2 other states change some of their rulings. Those are good.
New York.
New York has come around also.
New Hampshire's a standout, so anybody from New Hampshire, go hit up your politicians and chance.
Okay, New Hampshireites, have at it. Where are you seeing the most interest? Are you seeing primarily retail individual drivers? Are you seeing fleet interest, any particular last mile deliveries, things like that? Where do you see some kind of a low-hanging fruit besides just the commuter audience for these types of smaller vehicles?
Well, I think for us, people are hungry for things that are unique and have a compelling story. When you drive any of our vehicles in your local community, they will stand out and you will get noticed. And I think in today's society, standing out is more and more important. And buying unique vehicles that also make a statement is something that we see every day at Aptera.
Yeah. I think for us it's consumers, but also fleet owners as well. So we have we're working with shared vehicle operators that people that usually operate scooters and smaller vehicles that are interested in using our vehicles because it's weatherproof and has more range and it's more comfortable. Also for deliveries, because of how compact our vehicle is, it makes a lot of sense for urban deliveries where you have to be able to park more easily and be more efficient.
We started selling in October of last year, and we started out with retail customers. We thought we were going to dominate what went on. So the retail buyers were picking things up. They were using them to drive to work and back. But since then, we've had 30 fleets buying our vehicles for last mile delivery or food delivery. And again, our vehicles all 3 of our vehicles are very well suited for what goes on. But in our hatch in the back of the Solo, you've got a really nice flat floor, and you can really control the quality of the food or the micro parcels. So these last mile deliveries, we've got Ruby's Diner, Skechers Shoes that does all kinds of campus pieces. So they do all of their security driving. The city of Mesa bought them. They do parking enforcement with our vehicles. Not our proudest moment, but anyway, be careful where you park in Arizona. But we're finding the utilization on the commercial side is now starting to outrun the retail side. And I think that's partly our fault, is we're trying to open in more states because we sell direct to consumer. You can go online, luxmechanica.com, order the vehicle. But we have to deliver to a state from our California or Arizona locations right now, which makes it harder. And then, so until we can get those dealer licenses in the other states, it's a challenge for the retail customers. For the fleet customers, they buy them in bulk, right? So 10, 20 vehicles, and we and can deliver easy. So to answer your question, I'm sorry I was long-winded, but retail started out and it was rocking and rolling. Now fleets and last mile are really starting to see the value, because honestly, with a grant, any kind of money out of the federal government, the business case for our vehicle gets made between 12 and 17 months. You throw the grant on top of it, a $3,500 grant or a $7,500 grant, which is where we were fitting, and the business case now is less than 12 months. So fleets will start to buy vehicles and own them, because normally what they have to do is hire somebody with a car, and then that person goes and delivers with their vehicle. Well, quality is, you ever try to put a pizza on the back seat of a Yugo or a Buick or something like that? The seats are all molded, you know. We have a flat floor, so the food quality is never really where it should be. And I think we all can say that. I mean, you guys got great storage in the back of your vehicle, it's extra long. So there's application for this. Anyway, sorry.
So, I mean, the interest is obviously getting people out of big vehicles, but one of the needs is also to get people out of full-time private vehicles. This seems like a really useful opportunity for shared mobility, as well as connecting to transit and other modes of transportation. I mean, we're not necessarily trying to just replace gas cars with EVs and just bigger cars with smaller cars. We're trying to facilitate other modes so that everyone can have access to mobility that is convenient and cheap and affordable and sustainable and all of those things. So are any of you approaching any of the shared mobility types of models with that kind of thing in mind versus just private vehicles or fleet vehicles?
Yeah, we are. When we designed the vehicle, we had the shared model in mind. And what we found was kind of important for that is to have batteries that are swappable, because for a lot of these operators, the vehicles are free floating, so it becomes a challenge to charge the vehicles, because if the batteries were not swappable, you have to drive the vehicle back to a central location, you got to charge it, you have to wait for it to charge. Because the batteries are swappable, you can take it out and fully charge in about a minute. And so we found that was really helpful. Also, the size of the vehicle is also very small, so you can kind of fit it in the city a lot more easily. Because of that, really helps.
Yeah, at Aptera, as we inch closer to production, we've been exploring a number of different things that I think are really enabled by our connectivity. Having always connected vehicles and scooters and your apps to hop on trains will hopefully one day make it very easy to take a trip to see grandma, but use several different modes of transportation to get there. I can see someone, hopping on a train and then hopping in one of our vehicles and then maybe hopping on a scooter to make the last leg of their journey. But I think that's all enabled by, the app, to be able to share your vehicle with someone else just through your app. I can make my Aptera available to anyone. It's parked on the street. Somebody can reserve my vehicle, go over their app, open the Aptera, get in the vehicle, drive to the next destination, and it's all taken care of. I think those types of things will hopefully spawn more and more over the years. And I think also there's a whole spectrum of electric vehicles in here, and hopefully they all play into that to make the world more efficient and easier to get around.
There's some really neat pieces of infrastructure that are happening right now, and I'm going to answer because we're working with municipalities. But let me do the infrastructure piece. How many of you have ever seen the compact vehicle only parking space? No. So people are doing that so they can get more parking. Smaller businesses are doing that so they can park more vehicles. The rideshare programs for some of the municipalities we're working at are doing just that. So if you have something that fits in there, that's great. How many people have seen the parking space labeled land barge only? Okay, neither have I. So you want to have as an efficient seating or parking as we can get. And right now, our municipalities for the sharing programs, there's a couple that are being unveiled. I can't really tell you the details, but you will see something in the very near future, particularly for some colleges to travel back and forth. An interesting idea, maybe some entrepreneurs out here. They buy a group of vehicles, they lease them to a campus, and then people pay a subscription under the share. So it's not quite the model you've seen before. It's kind of like a grouped lease program. That's what's evolving right now. So watch for that. It's coming out. This type of category of vehicle is perfect for it because it uses up a smaller footprint and it's super efficient. And maintenance is almost nothing. So you can really, really leverage these types of vehicles for that commuter use as an individual basis. And when you're driving in it, you get personalized, which is what people want to be recognized as an individual. You're not driving the same thing that looks the same as everyone else. You're riding in something that you get noticed in, which is what a lot of people used to do. That's why big cars came around. People worked on power and size. And as you had a larger and larger car, it wasn't necessarily safer. There were no seat belts in those older cars in the 50s and 60s. You were recognized by the size of the vehicle you drove in. How about we change the paradigm here? We put a vehicle that's beautiful, it's got utility in it, and you can use it every day and be recognized as an individual for doing something really cool. Because all the land barges look the same. I don't know if you've looked, but they're basically all very, very uniform. I think if you look at these three vehicles, there's beauty, there's style, there's flowing lines. It's not RoboCop, right? It's not a square front end with one straight line. It is the beauty of design meets the utility of what you need. That's what we're trying to do. Now, I didn't say get rid of your bigger vehicles. You still got to put the family in the vehicle and take them to the beach. But you know, I'll challenge you with something. I'll bet you most of you that have a 4-passenger vehicle wanted to take your family on a vacation, go drive to Florida. Your vehicle isn't really big enough, your 4-passenger vehicle, so you go rent another vehicle, right? Got a Suburban or a Tahoe or something so you can pile all the people in. Well, all that time that you were driving around in your 4-passenger vehicle thinking you had all that extra, you were all alone driving to work and back, you lost all of those dollars. And the one time you really needed it as a 4-passenger, it wasn't big enough for you. So here's what I suggest. Drive what you need, the right size vehicle for the right period of time, and then just go rent the thing that you need because you only do it once a week. If you did it once a year, you needed it for a week. The rest of the time, drive our stuff because it fits.
I don't know, I've seen a Solo with a surfboard on top, so I know at least one guy has taken his to the beach. Question.
Is this thing on? Yes, it is. Okay, so I was thinking about how can we get people to, I was thinking about food delivery, pizza delivery, delivering hot food and stuff, and how can we get people to care what size delivery vehicle their food was delivered in? And I was thinking, you know, this is a kind of a use case scenario. Tell people, look, if your food is delivered in a small vehicle, it'll get to you faster and hotter and tastier because the car won't have to, you know, wait and get stuck and have trouble finding parking. So, you know, if you want hot, tasty pizza, then have it delivered in this vehicle because, you know, we'll find parking real quick and bring it up to you. Because people do care about how hot their pizza is. But I'm sorry, that wasn't a question.
No, maybe I can touch for you. I mentioned it just a few minutes ago. So Ruby's Diner, one of our customers right now, if you're down to Mission Bay, I'm sure you've seen it, they got the wrap vehicle. That vehicle is running a standard size vehicle. We have cargo vehicles. Our cargo vehicle will hold 12 full-size pizzas in a bag, 4 2-liter bottles of Coke, and 2 salads. And they're all on a flat platform with a thermally separated hot stuff on the top, cold stuff below. The quality of those things means you have a choice. So you can buy a standard vehicle or you can buy the custom designed cargo type vehicle. It's there today. And I'm telling you, security guards, delivery, they are seeing this value. It's happening now. And the more you look out there, you'll see vehicles wrapped with Mountain Mike's Pizza and other folks that have the right idea. Which, I don't know if you're familiar with the sandwich shop. They also ride around, yellow vehicle, beautifully wrapped. They got a Solo also. When they're bringing their vehicles in, we actually have a little holder that sits on a perfectly flat platform, so the quality of the food is one of the top things they look at. So hopefully I answered your questions, and hopefully more and more as you receive deliveries of high quality food, you'll say, hey, wow, it was in that vehicle. Probably a solo, maybe it's a cargo, who knows?
Now I'm hungry for pizza.
So
Get right up on the mic, please.
I have come into a couple things with small vehicles, and the main one is applications in rural areas where you might need a big vehicle because, say, your road's not developed, or you need to take 1 ton of hay back to your farm to feed animals. What would be an application for small vehicles in rural areas beyond that? The other thing is, like you had said that you might rent a vehicle out to take your kids cross country. We went in a Tesla Model S, 4 kids, 2 adults, all the way out to Michigan from California. So if you wanted a small vehicle, there you go.
I didn't say it couldn't happen. I was trying to say that someone who drives a gas vehicle bought a Chevy Malibu. And in their Chevy Malibu, when they wanted to take their 5-person family, husband, wife, 3 kids, they don't have room to put the luggage in the trunk. So they go out and rent a Suburban to drive to Florida in so that they can go to Disneyland, or they come to California from middle of the country. So I believe it'll happen. But if someone's arguing you got to have a really big vehicle all the time, if you need to drive that, and you guys realize that there are 130 million people to drive to work and back alone every day. About 20 million people carpool. You could Google this. I'm not making it up. So if all those people are driving alone and back every single day, 5 days a week, and let's say they go to the beach on Sunday, okay, drive the 4-passenger to the beach on Sunday, but if you're going to work back every day, why do you want to heat and cool empty seats? That's range. The air conditioner. You run the air conditioner, you got to cool off empty seats. That's range. Your heating, it's the same thing. You want to run really as efficiently as you can, because that's why you're getting an electric vehicle. Isn't that what it's all about? So look at what's happening and look at how you use something 70% of the time. You make a little shot up to the pharmacy. Okay.
And the next panel with Mickey, you can dive right into that.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We have time for a couple more questions. We'll try to go through them quickly to get to everybody.
Hello, I'm the CEO of a global company. Also work in China, the largest electric vehicle market in the world. Now live in California, the largest electric vehicle market in the US. I'm ready to purchase today, one for myself and one for my business. I just need to do one thing that I can't do, and that is rent the car for a day to make sure all of our equipment can fit in it, check out the range, see how our application is going to be, determine I'm going to buy one for myself, how many I'm going to purchase for my business. So my question is, how can I rent one of your vehicles for one day to justify the business case, as well as to see how many we want to purchase?
I tell you what, raise your hand, Chris. So this gentleman here, I'll give you one today. We'll let you take one for a week just to make sure it fits. If you need a cargo, which has got more space
Yeah,
in
look
it,
at the cargo.
I'll just connect with it. We'll make sure we take care of your needs. You can buy one today.
Great.
I'd let you take one of these home today if you want.
All right,
But we have brand new ones right in Huntington Beach, so just connect with Chris, okay?
And the other thing I'll mention to you, it's an honor to have you all here today, training us, giving us information. If you need expertise to get into the China market, I'm your person, let me know. Thank you.
Make sure you leave your business card, because we do have some connections, but that is an emerging area also. We have a global strategy, right? We have an APAC strategy at Electromechanica. We have a US, which is North America, Canada, we've got Canada and Mexico, and then we've got a European strategy. So the whole idea is to touch point on where these needs are and fill the needs.
So if I have 2 small kids in car seats and my spouse has 1 kid in 1 car, the family trip car, and I needed to take the other kid somewhere, is it safe to put a kid in a 2-seater like an Aptera? Does a car seat fit? Are there regulation problems with that?
Yeah, I think it's the same issue for all 3 of our vehicles, that we're classified as a motorcycle, and oddly enough, you can ride a motorcycle with your child in your lap. and a person behind you, which seems a bit crazy, but you can. And it's another example of the regulations just being kind of archaic. There's certainly the ability to latch a car seat in the passenger seat or the rear seat of any of our vehicles, but there's not a lot of regulations around it, so it's really up to us to decide and for you to decide how you use those vehicles. Obviously, we all feel we all have a very safe vehicle, so it would be appropriate to take your family, your children, your grandma, whatever.
I heard that as yes.
Yes.
Last question.
Yeah, yesterday I was at the Aptera booth, and
I'm sorry, can you get
I'm
closer
sorry.
or louder?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was at the Aptera booth talking with a woman, and she said she could never drive one because she likes her SUV, and she couldn't tell me why, but she likes it. Is there some way to defeat that? Is there some way to argue that?
I think all of us would probably echo, and I'm sure you guys have comments, that our vehicles are not for everyone. And, I'm from the South, and I have a lot of relatives back home that would never put their bodies in a three-wheel vehicle or anything that looks unstandard. So I think, part of the beauty of what we're doing and creating is, different types of mobility for different types of people. And as these mobility devices become more popular, they will become more familiar and more people will embrace them. But for now, it's definitely an uphill battle for a large segment of our society that would never buy an electric vehicle alone, an electric weird looking vehicle or something with three wheels. So it's everyone in this room and everyone in this building that's helping to foster that community of understanding, but it will take time.
I think, really truthfully, we tend to drive, I'm part of the crowd, tend to drive what we feel we're safe in. And when someone looks at our vehicle or any one of the vehicles and they get in it and they drive it and they feel safe, they're a lot more likely to do it. And if they know how much safety engineering went into it, they feel even more comfortable. And when there's crash data and other pieces that come out with it, it keeps moving it up. But there's a little bit of a mental stigma with three wheels that isn't stable. And I say go take a test ride. I've yet to see someone get out of one of our three-wheel vehicles. It's very stable, very safe. That's 80 miles an hour. We speed limit around 82, 83 miles an hour. But you go take it out on the freeway and feel it. Take it around the city and feel it. You get out if you don't feel safe, and they're right out there, drive them. If you really don't feel safe, let me know, because something's not right. I mean, it really, honestly, is everything you want. It's engineered that way. It just looks funny because the back of the vehicle's got one missing wheel, as everybody knows it, but it doesn't feel that way. You've got to get in and drive once. Comfort comes from feel. Safety comes from security, how you feel. So.
As we all know, the best way to get someone to consider an EV or a new type of vehicle is to let them try it. It's age-old axiom, butts in seats. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you guys very much for joining. If you want more of this conversation, plus our Komodo, I think it's 1 o'clock on the other stage with Vicky Gordon-Fleetfield. Any questions you didn't get answered, you guys will be around. Okay, look forward to the rest of the day.
Cheers to all you guys.
Thank you.
You're the users and the consumers.